Good Friday morning, everybody. This is Grace, and I have more than one topic I'd like to talk about, give my opinion on. Remember, read the disclaimer in the description box below this video on YouTube. Anyway, the one topic, you can see my dogs, as usual. One topic is about humiliation, and that is when a toxic person, and what I'm going to discuss is when a toxic person realizes, that they're an abusive type person, physically abusive type person, and they realize they cannot abuse you. You're not going to allow it, physical. There's more than one type of abuse. But the person learns that they cannot physically abuse you, and that's in their personality, to do so. So what they could turn to is humiliation. And they see that's not a physical. So some people still think that there's only one type of abuse, and that's physical. So they turn to humiliation or other things. There's a lot of them to discuss. Now, in humiliation, it could be that they get you somehow out in public. Maybe you're around people that you probably will never see again, just in public at a store or something, and you live in a big city, hardly anybody knows anybody. And they can just do things like some would say to embarrass you, but it's really to humiliate you, to make you feel mortified by what they've said. And maybe others see it and they will look down on that person, that's saying the abuser, but that the abusers get whole game with it can be a variety of things. People have different views on it, but it, in a way, is to have power over you, to have control over you. It could lead you to not wanting to go anywhere or be out. There's an isolation part. Or, it can be just to show you, I can still get to you. I can still get at you. And it could be that you didn't go with that person. They just, stalker-like thing and followed you. So many little scenarios, and remember, it's just my opinion. But let's dial it back and go to other kinds of situations where you really need to make a decision on, if you're going to help a person to not humiliate, to not be humiliated. I'll be right back with that. Okay, to dial it back a little bit and to give a little sing. Yeah, my dog's gonna make noise. They like to humiliate me. I don't feel it that way, but anyway, to dial it back a little bit, about, I'd say 7 years ago, I don't know how many, but I worked at a place and it was an office, and I always got there early, and so did the administrative assistant and the boss. Okay, it was just three of us. It was Cubeville kind of thing, and where I was sitting in the office, I could see the boss's office, and he always had the door open. And well, I was sitting there that morning real early. We were only three there, like I said, and the administrative assistant, she went to the boss's office, and I looked up right as she was entering in the door, and I went, oh no, yes, it's kind of a cliche kind of situation. I guess you call it cliche, but she had her skirt was tucked into the back of her pantyhose. A lot of people say that's one of those situations, and it was real. It did happen. And I'm looking at her, and I'm feeling, I'm very, I feel other people's emotions, as I would see them, of course. But I looked at her and I went, oh no, I have to tell her. So she came back by, and I called her over, and I told her. And she was, I could see it on her face, humiliated, but she was also angry, and like kind of a bit like angry at me. And then she, I could see the emotion going on her face, and then she, kind of just stormed off. But right at the end, I could see that she realized I was, helping her out, because the rest of the people in the office were going to, be showing up. So it was good that I told her, and that's my opinion. It was good that I told her. But in that kind of situation, how people say kill the messenger. I felt that too. But what would other people do? Would they feel there's like it's actually a compassion. Compassion is a response. It's to do something to alleviate a person's distress or something along that line, or to prevent it even from continuing, something like that. Now, she felt humiliated, I'm sure. She never thanked me later on, nothing, but it was also an embarrassment to her along that line. So I did what I thought was right, so she wouldn't continue the rest of the day. How long would it have gone on, kind of thing. And plus her being at the front office, but I just felt the compassion, to have that response to help. So I'll be back with more. So why would she have that kind of reaction toward me? Well, I had my own experience with something that was kind of like you have heard about. And it was years before then. And I really had to think about how I felt about that. It was a guy I was dating. I'd been dating for years. I don't know how long. Altogether, I dated 4.5 years. But sometime during that time, and in the morning we went to go get some breakfast or something, and we were going through the drive-through, and we got up right close to the window. I mean, we had to drive there, and we got close to the drive-through window. And right before I got there, to the window, I was driving. He looked at me and he said, "Do you think maybe you need to get that toothpaste off your chin, my face or something? I don't know." But it was like a little bit of toothpaste, And I thought to myself, why hadn't he told me that before? And I got angry, Why hadn't he? And he started laughing. He thought it was funny. I'm like, why did he not tell me before now? Why did he let me? And I went through all these thoughts and like feeling humiliation or embarrassment because he saw it and he didn't say anything. And what was he going to do? And he even said, well, I could have let you go all the way through it. Well, that's true. Through the drive-through, it's true, but still, what motivated him to let me go that long? And he knew it. He admitted to it. So the thing about him is overall, he was not a bad guy. Overall. Knew him all the time. He eventually passed away from a botched up surgery. But I knew him all that time, and I knew that he wasn't always. I think that was the only time that in those years, the years that I knew him, that he did that. So it was one of those, to use a business, I think it's a business term, business expression, I guess. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater kind of thing. Maybe it was just a moment when he didn't have good judgment. He just wasn't right that day. Now, if he had continued to do it all the time, did something, that would be to humiliate me, yeah, this is my opinion, remember. So I can understand that she had a little bit of anger. Maybe she had a situation like that before and somebody didn't tell her, whatever kind of situation, egg on your face, that kind of thing, literally. So I could understand that, that was her response, but I still think she should have said thank you for, not letting me go. Maybe she did, I don't remember, but no. To not let her be humiliated, in front of other people. But there is that, no matter what, you're going to feel something very negative. Okay, or would you feel anything negative? Or would you just, like me these days at my age, 53, if something happens in the past, if somebody did something that was embarrassing for them to themselves, I would really feel it, and I would feel that embarrassment so, or humiliation so deep. I still feel it, but not as deep. And I've basically learned how not to, I guess, over time. Some might say I'm just desensitized. But if it happens to me, it's kind of like, this is life. Life happens. Other people will use a different expression, but yeah, it does. And if somebody's sitting in there laughing or, whatever, if it's in their personality to do that, that's a different thing. But if it's just a situation and you're kind of caught off guard, like somebody trips, sometimes you might have a response to kind of giggle or something. But, I think the more mature you get in that, not necessarily age, but in that kind of situation, that you respond different, different way, not as, you don't have such an urge to giggle. But I don't think it's something that we should be too harsh on ourselves about, unless it's in our personality, to just laugh at somebody else's humiliation or embarrassment. That's, again, my opinion, it's not a good thing. But there's a reason all this has come up again. I have been thinking about this, but yesterday it came up again, and here's another scene, scenario when the question is, what do you do? Okay, first I'll go back a little bit. About, I'd say, I don't know, 2 months ago, a few months ago, whenever it was, I did a video one time, and I did it about, like I said before, internet dating. I've done that. And did I mention this? Oh, anyway, I had, when I was doing the internet dating, something I will never, ever do again. Let's talk about predators. Yeah, good place to find them. You don't want to. Well, I would think nobody would want to. But, yeah. And what the men on this dating website said about other men, of course, kind of a little Mae West kind of thing going there, but they would say that so many of these men are on there and they're trolling, and when I first heard it, I said, what do you mean? They call them trolls. And they said that these are men who go trolling for women. They play the numbers game and all this kind of stuff, and they call it trolling. And they said it's like when you go fishing, you troll out your line. Okay, and I didn't know, I wasn't one that would know what that term was, and I just accepted it, and that was my thing. I should have looked it up, but also so should have they, But it's actually, from when I looked it up recently, a few months ago, I guess whenever it was, it's trolling. And I did a video and I mentioned trolling because that's what I'd heard. Now, if you were watching my video and you heard me say it wrong, or pronounce it wrong, or connected it together wrong, would you have said anything? Nobody did. Just for the record, nobody did. But would you? And if you did, why? And if you didn't, why? Now, that leads me to what happened last night. I was watching, it was, before I went to bed, I decided to watch a couple videos and everything. And I was watching, first I watched one, and the woman on it, actually, she basically kind of quoted, a little bit of a quote, I'd say. I don't know exactly how to say it, but she got the name of the person wrong. And I knew it because I taught this at, both college and university. I knew the correct person who coined the phrase. Yeah, that's what it's called, phrase. Coined the phrase. So I knew it, and because I was an educator, because I taught, I wanted to correct because that's how they do, we do. So, but at the same time, I would have had to make it public because I had no other way of contacting her, and I felt that would not be humiliating to her. So, I understand why people wouldn't do it to me, but, isn't a good thing. Okay. Now, the mistake she made was very common, very, very common. But anyway, there was right after that one, I thought about it again for a little while, not very long, but I didn't make a comment. Right after that, I watched another video from a different person. And grumbling Gus is going to sit down next to me, my dog, so you'll hear noises. But anyway, the next video I watched, well, again, it was something that comes from my background that I knew this person was incorrect in what they said. And it was actually the way to pronounce a certain name. And I knew that. Now, I can tell you this. When I was a student, undergraduate, graduate, I had professors that would pronounce names in different ways. So it was like, really? How do you pronounce it? Back then, we didn't have so much of Wikipedia, or online. You could get online and find, how to pronounce it. We didn't have that, not so much. And these days, I still don't trust it. I mentioned one recently. I still don't trust the way I read it online, how to pronounce it. But anyway, this person did. It was a man, mispronounced the name twice, and I got that. Once again, back to back. My life goes in themes. Back to back, and I thought, I'm still not going to say anything because just as I was, have experienced myself, the way professors, I mean, these are professors, pronounce name, a person's name in a different way. So, I didn't say anything, but that did beg a question. Is it right not to do so? Because that person could be feeling, if somebody else does, a humiliation. Maybe it's somebody that would be mean, just be enjoy, emotionally sadistic or something, and enjoy humiliating either one of them. Or it could be someone like me who would not think in that kind of way, just would want to not let them feel humiliated by others. You got that? Anyway, that's enough on this subject. My other subject is, I'll get to it on another video because this is getting long, but it's about basically when, a toxic person, abusive person tries to take away from your things that you enjoy, your enjoyment, your activities you enjoy, and they try to take away in some way or another. But I'll get to that in another video. Yeah, I might put it up tomorrow, today. I don't know. So, anyway, everybody have a good weekend, and I will be back in another video. Talk to y'all later. Bye.